All right, let's do it to it. Do we start yet?
Yeah, man, my throat hurts.
Dude, we've been talking all night. Like, can you imagine if we actually had to do this for a living?
I know. We've been sitting up in our jammies, talking to the butt crack of dawn.
Welcome to the No Budget Filmmaking Podcast, presented by Cinema Summit, a podcast about the art of making films, no matter how small the budget. And now, here are your hosts, Alex Darke and Trevor L. Nelson.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. This is episode 31 of the No Budget Filmmaking Podcast. I'm Alex Darke.
And I am Trevor L. Nelson, and today we're going to talk about how to stay motivated and productive as a filmmaker. But first, what are we drinking?
Water.
Water.
Gosh, what's happening?
What's happening with us? Well, we were drinking beers earlier because what's new is that we did our first live class, a little seminar on how to make money buying and selling equipment, and we were drinking during that. So we do have to drive home at some point. So we did.
It lasted a solid 2 hours.
2 hours of surprising. And that shouldn't be too much surprising knowing how much we ramble on this, that we were able to ramble so much on that. But
yeah, not a huge surprise.
Sorry to disappoint everyone out there.
I guess the bigger surprise is that it was a relative success.
Yeah.
People seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We had very positive feedback.
People liked
the attendees.
So I mean, I would say yes.
Looking forward to doing more.
Yeah, so head on over to Cinema Summit, guys. You can see what we're coming out with next and all that stuff. So we drank our beer there. But of course it was Kona. Of course it was. Of course. Yeah. So yes, we're drinking water now to rehydrate.
So what else is new other than our sweet live class?
Well, we launched fearlessfilmmakers.com, which is like a little community board, kind of almost like a Facebook just for filmmakers. In the attempt to kind of build a community of people like us. People like us, yes.
People like us who want to make their own projects and not necessarily go about it in traditional ways.
Yeah.
People that think outside the box and are excited to sort of test new things and push the boundaries and all that kind of stuff. And so we made that community, let people in a couple days ago, and we already have several members, and we're excited to keep that going and get more people in there and start building it up.
If you're listening, that is fearlessfilmmakers.com, and go sign up. It's free.
It's totally free.
And, we'd love to see you over there. We'll give you a big high five when you join.
And we actually have inside a No Budget Filmmaking podcast group.
Oh, man.
So you can go in there, talk about the episodes, tell us what you hated about it. Also, put in your suggestions for topics for us to discuss in future episodes and guests to bring on. And so we have that going on in Fearless Filmmakers already. Yeah, so
head on over there, sign up. It's free. It's cool. Let's build a community, guys. Let's all get along together forever and be friends. Yay! Okay, what else is new, Alex?
Well, we surpassed 5,000 streams on this podcast, which is exciting. We are slowly and steadily building up. We're averaging about 45 downloads a day, which maybe doesn't seem like a lot to you guys.
What does your podcast do, guys?
You guys probably get thousands a day.
Yeah. Please tell us how you get those people.
Yeah.
So we're happy with that. You know, it means we're reaching people.
We're reaching people. We've had, people reach out to us and tell us that they're listening to the podcast, which is really cool.
Really cool. So that's all. These are all good things. These are all great things. We're very happy about it. And then also, what's new next week? There will be no podcast because of Thanksgiving. Sorry, guys. Family
gotta
duties.
Take a
break. Gotta go eat turkey, get fatter, and
it's a hard life,
Somebody's got to eat it, but.
What's a person to do?
Yeah, exactly. And so also a big RIP to our boy Stan Lee, who passed away at 95. I'm a huge Stan Lee fan. I read comics when I was a kid, read comics with my brother, X-Men, all that stuff. I remember calling...
X-Men was my jam.
I remember calling Fox Network and asking them when... Because they kept teasing out that this freaking... X-Men animated TV show was going to come out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and it kept getting delayed. I remember calling them like, what are you guys doing? you know what? Knock it off. I'm an 8-year-old kid. I just want to see my stupid X-Men.
Yeah.
And did they ever return my call? No. Because Rupert Murdoch is a dick.
Because they were too busy making the show.
Yeah, probably that's it. Yeah.
So it was good. I used to watch that all the time.
Oh man, that thing was amazing. So big R.I.P. to Stan Lee. Awesome guy. Never got to meet him, but everything I heard, he was so sweet.
We had him on the show. I think it was before your time.
It might have been. That's what's new. So let's move on, Alex, to the main topic at hand.
The main topic at hand, which is how to stay motivated and productive as a filmmaker.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired.
Yeah, let's
Next.
postpone it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. So for me, the biggest thing, it's kind of funny. I don't go into it with the idea that I need motivation, but anytime I watch a movie or a trailer, it motivates me because I'm just like, God, I just love doing this.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting for me is that's not true.
All right. Not at all, huh?
No, it is. It is, but not every time I watch a movie or a trailer. It's only specific ones, and I find that there's certain types of movies that really do it for me in general. Things that are like very visually compelling. Like I remember when like the Signal trailer came out. The indie sci-fi movie.
Yep.
When Drive came out.
Drive did it for me. I'll tell you this, that it's not every movie. So if my wife drags me to some, chick flick or Boy Next Door J-Lo movie, and I'm done, gouging my eyes out, I don't really get, amped to do that. But it's a lot more movies than just the ones that the trailers get me going crazy. I think if I go see a movie, I don't even have to be super, super excited for the movie, like where it's to the point where I'm like watching the trailer, sending you the trailer, being like, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you do that? Even if it's like I didn't see Predator and you said it was not the best, the new Predator.
Yeah.
But to me,
it had issues, it was fun. It was fun.
Okay. But to me, if I saw that, even though I wasn't amped for it or I didn't think it was great, I still would be like, oh man, now that scene right there, it may just be little scenes that I'm like, oh man, I just want to go shoot something right now because I'm ready to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just snippets of movies, no matter what it is, that just gets me going. It's just the idea of it. Because let's be honest, we're not going to make great blockbusters all the time. We're probably going to have to make a sequel to a movie that we don't want to. And you got to be motivated, so you got to find it wherever you can.
Probably true. I was not motivated after watching Predator. I've realized that it's movies for me and trailers that make the brain fire.
The goose pimples on the arm?
Yeah. No, not the goose pimples, but just like the synapses in my brain firing.
Synapses, okay.
Wherein a movie like Predator, it was fun. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't really make me think a whole lot. I wasn't like solving a mystery or like worried about any of the characters at all. Really. Yeah. So it's stuff like that. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Things that have intrigue. Like Ex Machina. I think I could watch Ex Machina over and over again. Still be motivated by that movie.
Man, I will give you that. Ex Machina is a fantastic movie. That is definitely one movie I could watch tons of time and be like, you know what? Yeah, still get the tingles from that.
And actually, I've noticed for myself that I actually can just go to like YouTube or Apple or whatever and just browse through the trailers, and there's inevitably one that's gonna,
that you've never seen before. That's just like, whoa.
Oh man, that's really cool. I can't wait for that.
You know what also does that is this is gonna sound so stupid. Scrolling through the Netflix new releases, like when they autoplay the trailers.
Sure.
Sometimes I'm like, wait a second here, I'm down for this, and I want to make something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just watching stuff to me is like the biggest motivation at times. I'm just like, I'm in.
I do find that I'm the least motivated after there's long periods of me not seeing something new.
Yeah. And I think and also that's when you need the most motivation, when you're just kind of like lulled down so much you can't even go see a movie, and then you go see one and you're like, oh, I know why I'm in this.
Yeah.
I know. And this especially comes into play when you are like working. I remember who it was. I think it was John Turteltaub. Is that the guy who directed National Treasures and all that?
I believe so, yes.
I remember he came and talked, and I forget what movie he was showing at USC. But
National Treasure 2.
I don't think it was.
3?
No. What movie was it? John Turteltaub. I don't want to know who his wife is. Thanks, Google, for doing that. Let's see. Oh, he did the Meg? Holy shit.
His documentary feature, Slow and Steady Wins the Race, the Turteltaub and Hare story.
What the hell are you even talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I mean, oh God, I forgot he did Cool Runnings too.
Jamaica, we have a bobsled team.
Hey, the people, they can't believe. Jamaica, we have a bobsled. No, it must have been National Treasure 2. I didn't think that I actually saw that at USC, but I mean, I don't know what else would have been there. And somebody asked him, was like, how do you stay motivated? How do you do that? And you know what? And this is a little bit of a, not so much for us, but he was like, you know what? Some days I wake up and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. And then I'm like, you know what? They're paying me a lot of money to do this. So I better just shut up and show up. And sometimes it's just the drag that you're like, you know what? I have no motivation. I just have to do it. And it's that point when I like you said, you're in that rut where you're just like, I just have to do this. And it's when you go see a movie that you haven't been able to see in a while, you haven't been able to go to the theaters in a while, that you're like, you know what? Yep. I know why I'm doing this because that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest motivation for me, is just watching something that looks cool or something that just gets me revved up for this industry, as they say.
Yeah. I think for me, another thing that I do a lot of, perhaps too much, some would say.
Okay.
I like to sign up for workshops or like watch.
No, I don't think too much.
Watch tutorials or like learn new things about, whatever it is, whether it's editing, screenwriting, cinematography, just
gear.
Learning new techniques and stuff that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
To try to make my craft better, as they say. Mm-hmm. I get motivated by that because then, I will have learned this new thing. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to get out there and try this.
Yeah.
I remember that certainly happened with lighting and stuff like that when I was first starting out, because I mean, for me, when I took a cinematography class at school at USC, it was...
Dr. Robert Ballo?
No, mine was with Chris Kelman.
Oh, okay.
Director of photography of the Phantasm movies.
What? Yeah. Okay.
I know this stuff, I don't know, but that's what stuck out to me, because I was like, oh man, Phantasm, dope.
Love me some Phantasm.
But it didn't click for me in that class.
Okay.
It didn't click. Partially probably because at the time we were shooting 16 millimeters, so I wasn't able to see the results instantly like
that
you
sucks.
are now.
I mean, and that's gotta suck back in the day when they couldn't, because I remember my cinematography class 16. It was like you couldn't tell if you did anything right until next week.
Yeah. And so
it
didn't click for me. 3-point lighting, I just didn't get it. Like every time I tried to do it, I thought it looked like crap. And it did. It did look like crap. But it wasn't until I started learning new things in lighting and actually putting the effort out to really get it and see what makes cinematic lighting work, and how do they do this type of stuff on these real projects, that I was like, oh man, now I really want to get out there and start shooting stuff and try these things out and put them to work.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it is. I mean, now with all the information that comes out about new gear and all that also amps me up. Like learning, like they're like, hey, guess this new camera that's coming out. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I want to shoot that. Or also just talking about learning, behind the scenes helps a lot, because they're like, oh, this is how we set up this shot. I'm like, how did you set it up? Oh, wait, I want to try that. That looks so cool. Totally.
Like when Blade Runner 2049 or whatever came out. And there was all that behind the scenes stuff of their crazy lighting rigs and
the big
and
giant,
how they did the set design and all that stuff. And I was like, oh man, this is great. That kind of stuff definitely gets me motivated. I remember again back in the day,
man,
movie magic. I've talked about it before. but that was my jam. It was a TV show on Discovery Channel and or public access, who knows, but it was, and you can watch it on YouTube right now. But they went behind. I wish someone should bring this back because it was great.
That'd be great.
It was pretty great. It was
We should bring it back.
We should. But it was behind the scenes of TV shows at the time, and also big movies. And they would show you how they made like the miniatures, how they did the explosions, how the director did stuff, how they chroma keyed stuff. It was all really cool.
Maybe we can't bring it back because now all those cool things that they're doing is just some dude sitting at a computer doing like VFX. It's just like,
that's not totally true.
Next, I set this node here. It's like,
I saw a little thing on. See, now it happens in like little Facebook snippet clips that are like 3 minutes long. But I saw one on Facebook about that Immortal Engine. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, Immortal Engines, where the cities are engines now or something.
Yeah, so they used a lot of miniatures on that, and so I saw this little blurry thing.
Miniatures are coming back, man.
Dude, they are. They're back.
I'm telling you. Oh, you're making a statement.
They're back. It's just the companies can't stay afloat long enough to survive.
Man, that sucks too. That just sucks so much. So yeah, those are some very cool things that I really like, that get me motivated like that. Watching like behind the scenes and being like, you know what, I want to do this. Like this is why I like this.
And I think they kind of are related. So the idea of watching behind the scenes and saying, "Oh man, that's great, I want to do that," and then the idea of watching a tutorial or taking a class or a workshop or whatever and saying, "Oh man, I can do this."
Yeah.
Like now I have this ability. I want to go out there and exactly. I signed up for a great visual effects class a while ago.
Oh, which one?
It was with our boy Alan McKay.
Oh man,
if you guys don't know Alan McKay, he's got some great VFX courses out there. They're expensive.
They are, but
they're worth it.
Totally
he's got
worth it.
Great stuff. Really cool effects. And he shows you basically how to be like a one-man VFX guy doing Hollywood level.
He's
stuff.
done it all. He's done it all, guys. He's not some guy who's, unaccomplished like us telling you what to do. He's actually,
exactly. He's a real deal guy.
Yeah, real deal guy. He's a guy. He's a dude.
He's a stand-up guy.
He's a dude. So that's one way. There's another way to stay motivated that me and Alex try and stick to, and that's to create systems or routines to kind of stay organized and keep your thoughts and things going in the right direction at all times.
Yeah, and there's a couple ways we do that. What's your favorite way, Trevor?
That we do?
That you do or we do?
I mean, we have our set times for podcasts. That keeps us motivated to do that. We used to have time set aside where we'd like sit down and write, but we just got too busy. I think that helped because we're sitting down and writing, and we're sitting down and writing and working this out.
I know we have to get back to that, but we have to get more time in the studio.
More. Oh my God! More
away from our day job.
Away from Larry. Sorry, Larry.
Yeah, so that definitely helps, setting aside time.
Yeah, and just saying like this is no matter what you're doing, because you can get sidetracked really easily, especially when you're Alex and Trevor, and you get definitely sidetracked or some shiny over there.
Yep.
But if you set times and say exactly, no, it's my podcast. Alex is chasing the shiny. But if you set aside and say, you know what, at 4:00 today we need to start writing or we need to work out this script, it's easier to be like, all right, it's time to go, because you just can't really deny it, I guess you could say. You can't really say no. You easily can, but if you do it a couple times, you're like, okay, now it's just like clockwork. This is what we have to do.
Yeah, and it comes for us a lot of times. We'll get into the groove.
Yep.
But we still have some distractions, or we're not getting as much done as fast as we want. So sometimes we'll say, you know what, we're going to take a little retreat.
Yes.
We go out to a cabin that we have out in the Sequoia National Forest.
Yep.
And we write out there because there's no distractions. It's pretty far away. It's like definitely an activity to go out there, so then it's like a real deal thing. Yeah,
and that's the other thing, is like it's one of those things where you're going all the way out there. We're driving 4 hours to go there, so it's one of those things where it's like we don't want to waste our time and like not have anything, because like why do we do all this just to come out and not do anything?
Exactly. And out there, we don't have cell phone reception.
Oh, it's fantastic.
No internet. So the distractions are very minimal.
It's fantastic.
And we've managed to, write an entire screenplay.
Bunch of stuff.
In a weekend.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also a notable mention here when it comes to setting aside time and whatnot. Our friend is currently trying something crazy.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Go ahead.
Actually,
we had him on.
Logan Burdick. You can check out his episode.
If you listen to this, Logan, you are crazy certified, but you already knew that.
Yeah. So he's trying this new thing where he's setting aside time during the day, like a certain amount of hours to write, and he's aiming to write a page of a script every 15 minutes.
Oh, man.
So, man.
Good luck, Logan.
Hammering through.
Yeah, and because he realized that if he just puts out enough scripts, if he has enough in his arsenal, he could just sell them to people, and then they'll hire him to rewrite it how they see fit. So if he just gets the basic idea down, more people will be like, "Oh, well, I like what you did there.
Yeah,
I'd like to buy this from you, and then have you, adapt it to the way I see the movie going."
So he's writing 30 to 40 pages a day. He just knocked out a script in 4 days.
Yeah.
We'll see how sustainable that is.
Yeah, see if he burns out and he's just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing is like also to stay motivated, challenge yourself, come up with we do these little challenges to ourselves. They also are like daily challenges you can do. Film festivals do it, film contests do it, like shoot a movie, shoot a short for under $100 or shoot a short in a weekend. Stuff like that. That's why we tend to not turn down when somebody gives us like there's a 100-hour film festival. Obviously it's not paid or anything like that, but we like the challenge. And it's like, okay, well, let's get out there and do this challenge because it keeps us motivated to shoot. Even though, we really aren't getting paid or it's taking over our weekend or stuff like that.
It's almost like the film school idea where it's like just the act of having someone tell you that you need to do something is enough to make you get off your butt. So it's like just having a deadline that's set by someone else for a 100-hour film festival or like the road reel competition or something like that. And saying like, I'm going to do that. That's sometimes enough to keep you motivated in that moment. It's harder, I think, to set your own deadlines and stick to them than it is to have someone else set a deadline for you.
And which brings us to another thing that we do is partner up. Definitely partner up. Hold each other accountable. Accountabilibuddies. Accountabilibuddies. What me and Alex used to call it all the time. And we would say, we'd hold each other. I know people who will start up Accountabilibuddies and do like a financial punishment if something doesn't get done. They each have their tasks, and if the person doesn't do their thing, that's put $5 into a pot, and when it gets to a certain point, then that pot goes to buying beer or something like that.
There are even apps out there that do that for you, I believe. Yeah,
I actually met a gentleman a while ago who started a company that basically sounded to me like Accountabilibuddies, and it was this productivity website where you are just paired with random people and you are holding each other accountable, because the idea is that if it's a stranger, you're going to be more likely to not want to disappoint them.
Not only that, but you're going to be more likely to not want to give them your money.
Exactly. I don't know if he does the money thing, but
I know there are some apps that do.
Yeah.
And can you imagine, like, if I lost like $1 to Trevor, I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I lost it to some random stranger, I'd be like, oh God, I can't do that again. Like,
this
I don't
dude gets my money?
Yeah. Like what?
What?
I don't even know that guy.
Yeah.
Who's
Why does he get it? This is stupid. So there, it's easy. It's very more motivating, because I know at times Alex will come to me and be like, hey man, let's do this and do that, and I'm get very motivated because I'm like, oh man, he's excited about it, I'm gonna get excited about it, let's do this. Or I'll do the same to Alex. I'll come like, hey, I got this idea, and that'll definitely help you.
I don't like that.
I'm gonna take a nap. Why'd you wake me up for this on the couch? Why don't you get out of here? I'm gonna go back to sleep. If you partner up, and you may not have somebody that you know right now, but there's tons of networks. fearlessfilmmaker.com.
Exactly.
So like build your network of other motivated filmmakers, and you'll get somebody who comes to you and be like, hey, I really want to shoot something this weekend. If you're like, you know what? I haven't shot anything in a long time.
Yeah,
I feel I want to come and shoot it with you as well.
That happened to me the other day. Also, like Logan, when he told me about his writing stuff, I was like, oh man, I'm going to start writing stuff. You know,
I gotta get on my writing game.
I have been slacking on the writing for the past like 5 months. I need to get back into it.
Yep. I'm with you on that. I got to get back into my writing as well. It's people like Logan that's helping us realize this and realizing how slackers we are.
So if you surround yourself with other filmmakers who are also motivated, you'll motivate them. It's not necessarily an Accountabilibuddies thing where you actually go out and set out actively to like motivate each other, but just being around people and seeing what they're doing and hearing about what they're planning and trying to do and all that kind of stuff can get you light a little bit of fire under your bum, as they say.
Under your bum.
Yeah.
All right.
And then also in terms of systems and routines and stuff, one thing that I've found to be helpful is journaling. They have these
telling
cool
your secrets to
the world.
To the world.
They have these journals out there. The ones that I use at the moment are by a company called Best Self. They got me with a Facebook ad.
They got me.
And
got them.
I've been using them. My wife uses them as well, and it's pretty good. I mean, it kind of is this idea of planning out each day. So you're not necessarily like sitting around wondering what you're going to be doing. You also plan out your weeks, and then it's basically like a 13-week journal. So you have 13 weeks. You can set a 13-week goal, and then monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals, and all that kind of stuff broken down. And it's got places for all sorts of stuff and things to keep you motivated, little quotes and activities and stuff. So I think it's definitely worth it if you are the type of person who, like me, every so often, I used to know that I had a ton of stuff to do.
Yep.
But I would kind of be like sitting in like paralyzed mode. Like, what do I do first? I don't know what to do. Like,
oh, that is the worst.
It's the worst. So if you are able to sort of break it down on that level, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to spend 2 hours today doing this, 3 hours today doing this other thing, and then tomorrow I'm going to spend 4 hours doing this again. And you can kind of visualize it and see it broken out in front of you, and that way you can have real clear plan of like where you're going and what you're doing.
Yeah. And once you get a routine going, it's a lot easier to stay motivated. It's kind of one of those things. It's hard to motivate yourself if there's no punishment, which is why those Accountabilibuddies apps work so much, because you have to pay people, and everyone's like, hell no, I don't want to pay you. But if you get a routine down, and the routine makes it a lot easier. But as you're working on your routine, you'll see results. You'll see things. You'll be writing more, and you'll be like, wait a second, this is actually working, which will motivate you even more. And more and more. So it helps to get something started, even if it takes you a little bit, because you're in a new routine, or you're just having a hard time figuring it all out. But once you start seeing results, it makes it that much easier to be motivated, because you're like, oh man, I really think I did a pretty good job writing the other day. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to keep writing, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw out some honorable mentions here for some little productivity and routine type apps. Trello is one that I use. We use it here at the podcast and Cinema Summit to organize sort of our tasks for those platforms and our ideas. And Trello is basically just like a list board that you can create lists and then move them around, drag and drop them. You can have like a to-do, in progress, done list.
Share them with people.
And just kind of drag things around.
Yep.
And that's nice. We also use an app called NoteJoy.
NoteJoy.
Which is...
It's a joy.
It's a joy.
A joy of notes.
Very similar. We're actually using it right now. We use it for our podcast outlines so we can stay on track a little bit.
Yep.
It's very similar to Evernote, for those of you who have used Evernote. But basically, it's just a little note platform. You can create folders, notebooks, and just little notes, and it links up to your phone on the cloud. It has a little app for the desktop, and you can tag things, search things, and put all sorts of crap in there. So it's it's a great way to organize things and just sort through your ideas and stuff like that.
Now, the one problem that I have with things like Trello, Notejoy, and Evernote is that I personally, I think this is the same for Alex, have so many things to do.
Yeah.
That sometimes when I look at the list of notes, I'm just like, screw it. I don't want to do it any. It's too overwhelming. But just, once you do have that motivation to get in there, it makes it a lot easier to organize your thoughts. Because I know there are many times when I'm like sitting at home, it's been a long day. I'm like, you know what? I need to do something. And I look at my list of like scripts that we have to write and ideas we have to implement. And I'm just like, you know what? A beer sounds really good and some Netflix. I think I'm going to do that instead. And then I end up not doing anything and becoming a shameful person and then just waking up in the morning and be like, man, way to waste a night, Trevor.
Well, yeah, that's exactly me. Like when I get home from a shoot or like from working, I am like, oh man, I got so much stuff I could be doing right now, but this couch is looking pretty.
Pretty nice.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy. It's a lot easier to say screw it and move on to something that's a lot more relaxing or mindless, like watching TV or drinking or both. But there are some things out there that can keep you motivated. I think the biggest thing that I say is go shoot something. You know what? If you just go out there and shoot something, even with your phone, you'll get back in that flow of being like, I now know why I want to do this. And even though sometimes I'm tired or even though sometimes it feels like a drag, holy shit, I really like just making stuff with a camera.
Yeah.
I really like creating.
And I think it's easy to kind of fall into excuse mode or whatever, where you're like, if I want to make a project, I'm going to have to like reach out to people. I'm going to have to talk to actors and cast people. I'm going to have to ask my friends to work on this project with me. And, whatever. Or like hire people. I'm going to have to spend money. There's like all sorts of different excuses or whatever that you can come up with to not do something.
But it's a lot easier to come up with those excuses.
It is. But I think what I've noticed is once I am able to move past that and I just do it, the excuses seem so silly. Like, why did I even think like that was going to be hard or difficult? Like, it really wasn't that big of a deal for me to like gather people to do this because other people want to be working on stuff too. So
other people need the motivation.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where I think it's more of a self-inflicted obstacle than a real one. You kind of just got to get over it and just go do it.
It's really hard. I mean, it's really hard to break out of habits of like, especially if you have back-to-back long shoots. It's very hard to be like, you know what? I got to keep doing this. I got to do other things to keep me motivated, to keep me grinding away, as they say. So you just got to find what works for you. I know some people that read a comic book and then get motivated to go shoot something. They see other people's work and they get motivated. I know people who get motivated just by the fact that they, they're not where they are. They're not where they want to be in their career or life. And they're like, that motivates me to just get off my ass and freaking do it.
True.
Because that's the biggest motivation is you just want to do this.
Just want to do it. I'm going to throw this out there because I just thought of it.
Okay. Ooh.
I realized I get motivated a lot from podcasts or articles that I read that inspire me to, they inspire a story or something. I'm like, oh man, that'd be great if I'd incorporated that into a movie or whatever. It happens to me all the time. So I think that's definitely worth mentioning. Podcasts, informational podcasts or articles about different things can sometimes really lead to interesting ideas.
Sorry, guys, we've already been talking for 2.5 hours in another thing. So
my voice is done.
We
are going to have to cut this one short.
Yeah, we'll make sure we do these a little bit separated from our classes because our voices are shot today. But yeah. I mean, it is nice to be able to listen to podcasts when you're driving, especially in LA where there's so much traffic. And there's some great podcasts out there, like No Budget Filmmaking. But also like just shoot it is a great one.
Yeah, I enjoy that one.
There's tons of ones out there that will help you stay motivated when you're just sitting in your car. It's kind of like one of those things that passion rubs off on people. And so if you hear people passionate about filming stuff, you'll kind of get that passion back and be like, you know what? I'm ready to get back into this. I don't know. I was tired. I didn't have it wasn't working for me, that kind of thing. So, definitely listen to podcasts when you get the chance, especially if you are living in, LA and have, hour and a half in a freaking car every day because life sucks. And why do we live here? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that would be about it. Anything else you want to add to that, Alex?
I don't think so.
Okay. Like you said, your voice is shot. My voice is shot.
My voice is done for.
My voice is shot, guys.
It's going to be a short little episode, I think.
All right. Well, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe people have heard our voice too much today.
Yeah, probably have.
So before we go, what's cool, Alex? What is cool?
What is cool?
Hit me.
All right. Well, I saw this app.
Okay.
It's a Kickstarter for an app called Sirius, Sirius. And it apparently turns your phone into an RGB light.
Really?
A little light source. So
interesting.
If you had a way to mount it, you could use it as a little like LED light almost that is color controllable, and you can just use all the colors in the world or whatever and use it as a little light. I think that's a pretty cool idea.
That is a cool idea. That is hey, any way you can get light with what's already at your disposal is great.
I think it's especially cool because if you're shooting a project where the person's like looking at a phone, you could have like a specific color light.
That's a pretty good idea.
Illuminating their face from the phone, things like that. And also, if you happen to just need a small little light that you can stick somewhere, not a bad idea. Yeah,
I mean, it might not be completely color accurate, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah,
it's better than not being able to get what you need to do. So that's cool. That's cool. So I have found that there is a new release. So 6 months ago, DaVinci rolled out Resolve 15. Blackmagic rolled out DaVinci Resolve 15. Mm-hmm. And now they've come out with 15.2, which is a huge overhaul update to it. They've updated the timeline. They've allowed keyboard customization, which is kind of, the bread and butter of Premiere, which a lot of people, when they came from Final Cut Pro to Premiere, I remember them saying, oh, can I change my keys to be more like the default keys in Final Cut, which now there's a visual layout that allows you to do that in DaVinci. There's this really cool effect plugin called Blanking Fill. Okay. And so there's so much love for IGTV and Facebook and stupid vertical videos being shot. That what it does is say your project's 1080 and you're using multiple different formats and frame rates and all that. What the plugin will do is on a piece of video that doesn't fill up the whole frame, it will add background of that video behind it. So it will duplicate the video, stretch it out, and add it to the background.
Yes.
Like you see in a lot of when
it's like blurry in the background.
Yeah, and the CNN uses a cell phone video that was shot, in portrait mode, and they want to use it to fill a 1080 box.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of stuff in there. I could get into it, but I think they say there's about 25 major updates in the DaVinci Resolve 15.2 rollout. So that's pretty cool. Check it out. If you're a DaVinci Resolve user, let us know what you think of the update. I still haven't made the transition to DaVinci Resolve. I'm thinking about it.
Still want to try it out, test it out.
But all of our projects tend to be in a time frame, and I feel that I have to do it on a project that we have no real time frame on, so I can really, really get into it.
No, that's exactly what that's my thought exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same reason I have learned, speaking of like taking classes and stuff, I've learned Resolve.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. Like, I am so familiar with Premiere and Lumetri,
right,
and After Effects and stuff. It's difficult for me during a project where we're getting paid and when there's a pretty, hard deadline.
Yeah.
For me to say, okay, I'm gonna take this out of the Adobe framework and put it into Resolve and work over there.
Yeah. So it's tough.
I don't know.
But one of these
I definitely want to start doing it more and test it out. So another, speaking of updates, Apple has actually released a new update for Final Cut Pro.
What you say? You say what?
Yeah, with some cool stuff for the pros out there that use Final Cut.
Who still does? No, I kid.
Yeah, I mean I think Final Cut X had a pretty rocky start, but I think they slowly have built up and made it a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and now I think more people are actually using it, and it's
legit.
People like it.
Okay.
But they have just released a new upgrade with a few different things, but one of the most interesting one is they now have the ability to use extensions, which are kind of like plugins and stuff like that. So they have one with frame.io.
Wow.
For doing revisions and like notes and stuff. They also have a new video compare mode, so you can compare one shot to the other if you're trying to match.
That's pretty cool.
Things like that. They also have built-in noise correction, subtitling, and all sorts of stuff. And I think they're hoping to roll out even more extensions in the near future.
Damn.
So yeah, kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. And then my last what's cool is there is a rumor.
Yes. I've heard this rumor.
That we're not doing a podcast next week. Just kidding. No, we aren't. But there's a rumor that the next iteration of the C300 from Canon, so Canon C300 Mark III,
yes,
will be capable of shooting 8K.
8K.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that rumor.
The problem is, in natural Canon fashion, the original, like the straight out of the box C300 will be 4K. And then for optional money, as they are one to do, you can upgrade it to 8K.
Right.
Now, here's the question.
Now, and also in Canon fashion, it's 8K 420.
Of course.
No, not really.
No.
Joking.
How messed up would that be? No, but here's the thing is that was it Magic Lantern or somebody revealed that if you just changed a couple lines of code in what camera was that?
That was the Canon 5D Mark IV?
I'm trying to remember if it was that. What they did is basically notice that the sensor was capable of shooting a higher resolution, and there was just like one line of code that was like a key.
It was like restricting it,
and all they did was change that. Yeah, all they did was change that, and look at all of a sudden it could shoot 4K. So this tells me is that the sensor is going to be able to shoot 8K, but it is like restrained somehow by some of the programming. And if somebody could get in there and figure out how to turn that on, you could do it without having to freaking pay.
This also happened with the Sony F5.
That's what it is. The Sony. That's the one.
Sony F5, F55 thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't Magic Lantern. I don't know who that was, but someone just found you could like pull out the text file.
Yeah.
Export the text file or whatever, and then delete a line of code or something, and then put it back in, and it would turn your F5 into an F55 exactly in functionality, which is crazy.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so that's what I see what happening. It's like the Teslas. They're like most of the Tesla like Model 3s and Model S's are all the same. And they have a bigger capacity battery, but you have to pay for the upgraded version, which is why you can see a lot of times, and bless his heart, Elon Musk, in places that there are natural disasters or emergencies, he will unlock higher battery, higher range. Like he'll give the full range of the battery packs that the people didn't pay for.
Yeah.
Because it's just cheaper to make them all the same and then have a software issue to lock it or unlock it, because if somebody wants to upgrade, it's like, hey, give us $5,000, we'll just change the code over the air and you got your power. I think that's what's happening with this camera, so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point somebody gets in there and is like, look, this is what you have to change, and if you change this, then your 4K C300 Mark III can shoot in 8K because the sensor is exactly the same and there's no reason it shouldn't originally.
Yeah.
So I would look for that too, but I understand if you guys want to just wait and get,
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, you don't need
8K.
Yet, so maybe wait until someone hacks it.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for joining us. You can get the show notes for this episode by visiting nobudgetfilmmaking.com/episode 31.
And don't forget to hop on over to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast while you are there. Give us a 5-star rating if you feel so inclined.
And if you have any filmmaking questions, ask away in the comment section. Go to fearlessfilmmaker.com or fearlessfilmmakers.com.
There you go.
And check out the group.
Yeah, check out the group and check out the whole website.
Leave us a comment. Leave us a suggestion.
Yeah, do all that stuff. Also like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram at Cinema Summit. And again, we will not have a new episode because of Thanksgiving, so we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Later, guys.